Yo, it's your boy, Sacred Studios, and today we have the Caped Crusader without a cape, the great Captain Falcon. One of my favorite characters, even though I suck at him, and I mean sucking at playing with him and sucking at making an action figure of him. In fact, this is the third generation of Falcons I've made over the years. This first guy was used for my trailer and old intro and is hot garbage. Let's just act like he does not exist, okay? I made Falcon 2 right before I got my 3D printer, and at least this time I think you guys can tell who it's supposed to be. That being said, he still looks like Shazam with a Captain Falcon helmet on, so here's to Falcon 3. I was really ambitious with this guy, mostly because I didn't want to make any more iterations, and the process was actually pretty long for a figure like this. Firstly, I needed a good base. The main problem with Falcon 2 was the really crappy base I used. I mean, Falcon looks nothing like Shazam, so version 3 had to have a base that looked just like Captain Falcon. So I chose Cyclops from X-Men. I mean, if you squint, they pretty much look like the same character. I mean, they could virtually be twins, right? Okay, in all seriousness, this base was terrible, and I ended up wasting 15 bucks. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I didn't want to paint him big blue or something. Don't worry, Cyclops. I can decapitate you for another custom later. But for now, consider yourself lucky. Now instead, I forked over another 15 bucks and bought this Captain America as a base. Now a lot of people who make Captain Falcon customs use Batman as a base, such as this stellar one I found online. However, I specifically needed a figure from the Marvel Legends lines for a reason I'll get into later. Another advantage of using old Cap is he's actually blue. That way I didn't have to mute the city colors and paint him as is. Now came my favorite part, the decapitation. And I got to 3D print some goofy facial expressions as well. I like this one because it looks like he's taking a death wind. And when they're printed out, they look something like this. You know, as long as you don't turn around, they won't take your soul, I think. Nothing to fear. I could use epoxy to fix up the parts my printer, let's say, forgot. Now, I know what you're thinking. If I pretty much sculpted his face, then he really isn't 3D printed, is he? Well, to be frank,
that's the last time you ever question a Sith Lord.
Next up is sculpting the thick bod. And yeah, it's actually got a lot of detail to it. I think I got his likeness down pretty well. If you disagree, silence from you. I also had to drill a hole in order to fit his Frankenstein head into the new body. Now be careful with this, you don't want to turn your house into a fire field by accident. His shoulder pad was very obnoxious because Captain Falcon has a similar shoulder pad to Cloud Strife. The main problem is there's really nothing holding it to the shoulder besides magic, I guess. With the previous Falcons, I just glued the pad to the shoulder, but the problem with that became, well, I can't move his shoulder very well. With Cloud, I just connected the pad to a rubber band and put it around his shoulder, but that would be pretty obvious with Falcon. So instead, here's what I did. Magnets. I mean, they're pretty much magic as is. That's all the explanation you need, really, just magic. So they worked perfectly. Plus, if I ever need to, I can take the shoulder pad off. I know, this is by far the coolest thing I've ever done since I was born. Besides that one time I got a JV4 against Mook. Mook, you know who you are. Then I had to sand off an ocean of dust, and then it was on to the painting. Since I'm as cheap as a Lucas main, I used the dollar paints from Walmart, but they work fine honestly, and I use this for all my figures. Painting was very time consuming since remember, I have 4 different faces to paint. Painting the helmet wasn't too bad though. I just used a metallic red canyon of paint mixed with a little bit of copper paint. And hey, my crappy use of epoxy left scratch marks on the helmet. And that was intentional, by the way. I also used delicious Velveeta Gold for the boots. Now remember kids, if it says it's non-toxic, that means you can eat it. Forgot to mention this before, but his knee pads were 3D printed along with the faces, and they turned out fine. Now Captain America, or what was left of him anyways, is already pretty blue. But Falcon has like an ocean blue, like almost like the type of blue you'd find at a port town. Now if you look at Falcon's back, you might be asking, hey, Sacred, how did you get his design to look so good? My answer, of course, would be,
did you forget I was a Sith Lord? Yeah. This is your last warning?
Also, no, I didn't design his back. I went to Office Depot and had his design printed out and glued it on. I think it worked fine, but I think it would work a lot better if we all just pretended I designed it myself. His skin was pretty difficult since I had to make sure his skin didn't look too matte or glossy, while also having to match the other 4 faces. His little Dorito eyes were also really difficult to get the size down. But with a lot of work, luck, and actually it was just all luck, but I think I got him. Now, I liked him fine as is, but the only issue with using Captain America as a base are his hands. His hands are open. Now, how am I supposed to get the Falcon punch with grabby hands? So I decided to give up and throw the figure out. Wait, hold on. There's something here on eBay. Not that secret. There's too many eyes watching. Oh, here it is. You can actually buy extra hand fodder for Marvel Legends figures online. See, I told you I'd get back to it later. So, you know what this means? That's right. Another $15 in order to buy some extra hands for Captain Falcon. But I think it was worth it. But, unless this is your first video, you know we're not done yet. We have to do the dry brushing. And I can say this, since I've never said it before, this ended up looking like the best action figure I've ever made. This guy really resembles old Captain Crunch much more than his primitive ancestors. I mean, this guy looks like he could steal your woman's heart, right? I mean, he could probably steal your man's heart too. I mean, okay, let's just say this. Let's just say he has a lot of hearts, and none of them are his. That being said, lastly, this video is a collaboration with my good friend Red Brick Studios. If you aren't subscribed to me, at least subscribe to this guy. This guy is really wonderful, and he honestly is one of the most underrated stop motion creators on this platform. And I also happen to be making a Captain Falcon, but that's enough out of me. I'll let him explain it.
What is up, my guys? Red Brick Studios here, and today we're going to be checking out a new custom of mine, Captain Falcon. So, let's get into it. So, Captain Falcon was made out of one of those WWE figures, and don't remember which one, but I did get them at like a thrift store for like $1, and a whole bunch of other figures for $1, and that was super nice. And those customs will be coming soon. He has a 3D printed head. You can see there. If I can get my camera to focus. A scarf that I just made out of some crafting paper. His little shoulder plate thing made out of cardboard and beads made out of bendy wire, and a little gun made out of a Lego piece. And this back here is a little back plate, which I totally forgot to make. I made it at the last second. Originally it wasn't going to have anything on the back. When I was doing my part of the collab with Sacred and I was making my video earlier, I realized that I didn't make this back here because I totally forgot to. And I already had the video all done, and then like once I finished editing it, I was like, oh crap, I forgot about that. But what I did with this is I just looked up Captain Falcon back thing, I don't know, and actually an image came up, so I just printed it out and put it on his back. I know it's kind of cheap, but it would have been awful if I tried changing it. Speaking of paint, he was painted with paint markers because I had a lot of trouble painting him with acrylic paint because like the joints just wouldn't get painted and like the paint would just rub off. With this paint marker, it's kind of sticky. So I let it dry for a while, and then it like sticks on the joint. I know that there's still some parts that isn't painted too well, but it's the best that it could do. He still has all the articulation as the WWE figure. He can articulate here. His head is on a wire joint that I made, so you can do all of that. Elbow joints. His ball joints are super stiff for some reason. I might try and loosen them up, but yeah, his ball joints are ridiculously stiff. But all those other joints aren't too stiff. I don't know why his ball joints are super stiff, and that was like a real pain when I was trying to paint them with acrylic paints. So, there's Captain Falcon. Thank y'all for watching, and Red Brick out. Peace.
Well, that's it for now. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the more scripted videos. I felt like I was repeating my words a lot with the unscripted ones. And now you guys get to see how I really am. Yes, very pessimistic and spiteful. I'm not even going to lie about that. But good news, episode 6 is finally back on track, and expect to see some new figures soon. And hey, when I hit 700 subscribers, I'll do a video of my entire collection of Smash figures. If one of y'all can guess how many action figures of Smash that I have in total, that's including the Alt and the Echo Fighters, you'll get a shout out in that video. Here's a hint, I have more than 5. But for now, Sacred is out.